السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us all the sincere intentions. Let's have a bit of a recap, okay? But you really have to help me today, inshallah. Because I do my bit in asking the questions. I can't be answering the questions as well. I could do, but I hope that you will, inshallah, okay? I don't need to know where the answers came from, okay? But as long as the answers are coming, okay? So that should take the pressure off. I'm not going to be looking in a particular direction or anything like that. So, what was the name of Iblis, the devil? What was he known as before being known as Iblis? I can hear whispers. Azazil, okay? So now, Barakallahu Feek, that means that because you've answered one question, now you can't answer another for a while. So you're on a timeout period for Barakallahu Feek. That's not a punishment, of course. Okay, very good. So he was known as, can you repeat the answer, please? With an ayn, Azazil. Azazil, and some may say Azizil. This was the name of this Jinn, the first ever Jinn, the first ever to be created of his kind. He is known as the father of the Jinn. Now, remember there was a detail I mentioned about the Jinn and the Shayateen. So, who is it that we call a Jinn and who is it that we call a Shaitan? Does anybody remember the difference? Does anybody remember the difference? So, who do we call a Shaitan? No, you don't remember? No, no. But I mentioned it, right? Did I mention it? Or is it? No, you don't know. I didn't mention it? Okay, at least in yourselves, okay? Try to think, do you remember the answer or not? Even if you don't, put your hand up or call out, it's fine. So, what is a Jinn and what is a Shaitan? What's the difference between the two? Anybody want to? Jinn? No? Yes? So what's the answer? The shayateen, yeah, they come out at Maghrib, right? The devils. The Jinn in general, they're about. Okay, but what's the difference? There's a difference between the two. No? Okay, I'll tell you. No, Brother Ashfaq. No, he's itching to tell us, mashallah. A Jinn, or rather a Shaitan, is a specific type of Jinn. So they are all Jinn. They're all of the same kind, like we're all humans, right? A Shaitan is a kafir Jinn. Yes? We got that, right? So a kafir amongst the Jinn is called a Shaitan. So every Shaitan is a Jinn, but not every Jinn is a Shaitan, okay? Like every Muslim, well, among the humans, every Muslim is a human, but not every human is a Muslim, because we have non-Muslims, don't we? Okay. So only answer, as usual, only answer if you actually know the answer and heard the answer in the last two sessions. What is it that Adam alayhi salam ate from the tree? That's the answer. Okay, we mentioned in the last session, in the previous session, that the Quran did not mention the type of fruit. Okay? Rather, it was something that was from a tree in paradise. The Quran didn't mention it, and the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam did not mention it. So we don't enter into mentioning whether it was this or that. We don't know. How would we know? Yeah? The Christians, yeah, they mention something, but we don't rely on their book because they also claim that God is three. So we don't rely on their book. Right. So someone was created from Prophet Adam alayhi salam. Who was that? Lady Hawa. Hawa. And the anglicized form of her name is, so Lady Hawa in Arabic, and the anglicized form of her name is, we have Adam and Eve, right? Adam and Eve. Radiyallahu anha. And she was the first ever, the first ever? Come on, brothers and sisters. Yes, she was the first ever female. And the first ever wife, of course, okay? Adam alayhi salam was created fully formed. So he, what did we mention last time? That he never had a childhood. Very good. He didn't have a childhood, alayhi salam. Where was he created? Where did his creation and the injection of his soul take place? In paradise. Al-Jannah. I don't know who said it, but in Al-Jannah, right? In Al-Jannah. Allah. MashaAllah. What happened before Adam alayhi salam was created? When the angels heard that there is going to be a new type of creation sent to the earth, okay? So they asked what this was and so on. What is the previous experience that they had had of creations living on earth? Do you recall? Sorry? I heard the word, someone said the word jinn. I don't know who said that, but someone said the word jinn. What did the jinn do on the earth? Give me one word. Sin. Okay, fine. What type of sin? What were they doing? There was, with an M, involves blood, murder. Okay? So they caused chaos. There was murder. There was spilling of blood amongst the jinn. So the angels, what did they do? What did the angels do? Some of you were here in those first two sessions, were you? I'm sure you were. I don't remember people being here. I don't remember looking at you, but okay. The angels banished them. The angels were ordered to banish them, to distance them to the faraway places, to the faraway lands, to the faraway islands. Subhanallah. Perhaps places like Australia. Allah knows best. It's far away. And apparently there is a lot of jinn activity there. Allah knows best. But faraway places. So they were distanced to those faraway places. Okay. We heard that Adam alayhi salam, once he ate from the tree as Allah revealed in the Quran, he repented. And we also mentioned that in the Quran there are certain matters that have been attributed to some of the prophets, that the scholars of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah said these are considered small sins, but they don't show a bad character. It doesn't show a lowly character, because that kind of sin a prophet could never commit. But this is a type of sin that, of course, after those specific prophets committed them, they repented immediately, Allah forgave them, and so on and so on. Okay? So that is something that is mentioned about Prophet Adam alayhi salam and some other prophets of Allah. So why is it that the scholars went into this issue? Because the Quran mentioned it. Our book, it mentioned these issues. So the scholars commented on them and they gave it this explanation. But one thing that the scholars said that does not occur from prophets is kufr. So no prophet was an atheist, or no prophet worshipped an idol, or no prophet was never a kafir. Neither before receiving prophethood nor after. Meaning that they were always upon belief. That's something that the scholars agreed upon. Also they said that the prophets never committed major sins. There are major sins like fornication, that's a major sin. Like, for example, the drinking of alcohol or encouraging people to drink alcohol. Intoxicating oneself, whether by alcohol or other means. These are enormous sins. Like murdering unjustly. These are enormous sins. The prophets, they did not fall into these types of sins. Neither blasphemy, kufr, nor major sins. That's not, they didn't fall into any of this before prophethood or after prophethood. And likewise, they didn't fall into any small sins that were expressive of bad character. There are some sins that if a person does them, it might be a small sin, but it shows how lowly a person is. So the prophets never fell into those. In summary then, Iblis, does anybody remember what Iblis means? We can have one word answers, keywords, like the summary version. What does Iblis mean? Anybody? Something about... Sorry? بالإنجليزية. أبلس من رحمة الله. That's correct. What does it mean though in English? It means that he was distanced from the signs of the mercy of Allah. Right? He was distanced from the signs of the mercy of Allah. Allah revealed, إِنَّ عَلَيْكَ لَعْنَتِي إِلَى يَوْمِ الدِّينِ. La'na or la'nat even, it means to be distanced from the signs of the mercy of Allah. To have la'na upon one means that one is distanced from the signs of the mercy of Allah. Alright, so then Adam alayhi salam. Another question. What happened when Adam alayhi salam ate from the tree? Something happened immediately. What happened? Allah revealed it in the Quran. The clothes of paradise that they were wearing, they disappeared. Allah revealed, بَدَتْ لَهُمَا سَوْآتُهُمَا. That's what that means. And there was nobody else in paradise at that time to see that, and so on and so on. So what did Adam alayhi salam and Lady Hawa do immediately? They covered themselves with the leaves of the trees of paradise. Okay? طَفِقَا يَخْصِفَانِ عَلَيْهِمَا مِنْ وَرَقِ الْجَنَّةِ. That's what Allah revealed. Now, then after this, they descended to earth. Now, something that's important to clarify, because look, sometimes people, they might become misguided. They might go away from the truth because they heard a false, fabricated version of certain stories of the prophets. Scholars in the past made a point of mentioning the stories of the prophets and then clarifying at the end of each story some things that are said, some things that are narrated about this particular story that are wrong. Okay? So there are books, for example, like Al-Qasas allati la taliqu bil-anbiya, books that are not appropriate, or rather stories that are not appropriate to be attributed to prophets. Okay? Because a lot of people, they make things up sometimes. Sometimes things are taken from the Jews, things are narrated from the Jews, okay, that are absolutely false. Like the Jews in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Things were narrated from them that are absolutely false about the prophets. Like in some false narration, it says things like, that a prophet wrestled with God and that a prophet won. Allah is not like the creation, tabaraka wa ta'ala. So some ridiculous things are narrated, and so we warn against them, because we do not want the Prophet to be belied, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of the companions said, أَتُحِبُّونَ أَن يُكَذَّبَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ? Do you like for Allah to be belied, like things to be said about Allah that are not true? Do you as Muslims want things to be said about Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam that are not true? The answer is no. So it's an obligation upon us to defend the truth. So there is a false story that was widespread, I noticed, and within the Indo-Pak community. Perhaps you heard it, perhaps you didn't. It is a false story, and because it's so inappropriate and it's actually degrading, right? To believe in it is actually kufr. It makes a person a non-Muslim. What is that? Some people claim that when Adam alayhi salam ate from the tree, okay, this is false. They said when he ate from the tree, because he ate from the tree, and because it was a sin, he urinated in paradise. And they said that Adam alayhi salam supposedly was so scared that he tried to hide this urine. And now let me pause that for a little bit. For one of us, if there's urine somewhere, for one of us to come into contact with urine directly, when it's not mixed with anything like water or anything like that, it's haram. It's impermissible. Like if there was some urine here and someone put their hand in it like that, that's called contaminating oneself with najasa, filth. This is haram. So, and among the major sins, okay, because of which the Prophet ﷺ said a person would be punished in the grave, Aadam al-qabr, it is because of one of three. One of those three things is to contaminate one's skin with urine. It's a serious issue. So one cannot contaminate themselves with urine. Those people claim that Adam alayhi salam, after eating from the tree, urinated in paradise, and then because he was supposedly so scared, he hid the urine by contaminating his body with it. Kufr. If someone said that about our father, about our dad or our mother, that they contaminated their body with urine, this would not be appropriate. This would be insulting even. They claimed Adam alayhi salam put some of it under his armpits and put some of it between his legs. And according to those people's supposed logic, they said that's why the hair grows there. Ridiculous. This is not true. Anybody who believes that a prophet would contaminate himself with urine, this is kufr. This is humiliating. This person becomes a non-Muslim by that. I remember in some gatherings mentioning this, and then also saying to those people that whoever had that belief needs to embrace Islam again. They need to know that this is kufr, and they need to say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So like this, there are many made up stories that as we go through the stories of the prophets, we'll mention. Okay? We already mentioned that human beings, they did not come from monkeys or evolve from monkeys as is taught, this theory, which is not law and it's not fact. It's taught nowadays in schools, the theory of Darwin, where they say due to, well, they say natural selection comes later, but they say that due to evolution, people evolved over time, and that there were intermediary transitional forms going back all the way to Neanderthals, monkeys basically, and then developing into Homo sapiens. So they say that our ancestors were monkeys. وَالْعَيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Didn't we already say that Adam alayhi salam was a new type of creation? Monkeys, donkeys, dogs and cats and zebras and everything. All of the animals, they existed before that. Adam alayhi salam, the first human, was the first of his kind. And he did not descend from a monkey. Adam alayhi salam did not live in a cave without wearing clothes, without being able to speak or anything like that. No. Adam alayhi salam descended to earth clothed. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. When we say Muhammadur Rasulullah, just to bring it into focus, we know all the prophets said La ilaha illallah. when we say Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that's us testifying that not only Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was the messenger of Allah, but all those people about whom the Quran told and that our Prophet told that they were messengers of Allah, we must also believe in that. So if a person says, I believe in Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, but then they come and say, well, I don't believe in Adam. Well, Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he affirmed the existence of Adam. The Quran confirmed the existence of Adam alayhi salam, confirmed that he was the first man also. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Inna Allah, he said, Ma ba'atha Allahu nabiyyan illa hasan al-wajh. At-Tirmidhi narrated that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Allah did not send any prophet except that he had a handsome face. Tell me, are monkeys handsome? No. If somebody wants to insult someone sometimes, they say, what are you doing, you monkey? Or you look like an ape, or monkeys are not, they are not handsome. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, مَا بَعَثَ اللَّهُ نَبِيًّا إِلَّا حَسَنَ الْوَجْهِ. Every prophet had a handsome face. إِلَّا حَسَنَ الْوَجْهِ حَسَنَ الصَّوْتِ. That every prophet had an eloquent tongue, a beautiful voice. He said, وَإِنَّ نَبِيَّكُمْ أَحْسَنُهُمْ وَجْهًا وَأَحْسَنُهُمْ صَوْتًا. And he said that your prophet, Prophet Muhammad, had the most handsome face and the most beautiful voice. And also Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed in the Quran that al-insan was created fi ahsani taqweem, that he was given the best structure, the best shape, the best form, not like the form of an animal. So be careful. Sometimes it might be that your children are sent to school and in science or in biology they learn something. I remember when I was in school, I think it was year 9. And the biology teacher said something. It was the first time that they introduced this idea of evolution. And when you're in school, well, when some of us are in school, we're not really very focused. There's a lot of other things going on, football, and there's a lot of other things going on. So what happens is that you don't really pay attention in class too much. But this one caught my eye. One of the teachers said something like, we descend from monkeys, or she mentioned Neanderthals or something. So I sat there thinking, because I knew my mom and my dad and our Islamic culture teaches us about how Adam alayhi salam was the first man and the first prophet. And this was ages ago. This was back in the early 2000s, the early 90s. So I was thinking to myself, she just said that we come from monkeys. And then I just looked at the class as to what everybody else was doing, all the other students, okay? Majority Muslims in the class. So I looked around and nobody really flinched. So there was this one girl who also, a bit like me, she had glasses on and she was just looking at the teacher like this. So I thought, let me go and talk to her after the class. Because something obviously shook her. So I went out of a class of 30 and I said, kind of like, why did you have your mouth open? Why were you staring at the teacher? What was going on? So she said, because Adam alayhi salam, he was the first man. And, she's saying that, monkeys were first. And then she interrogated the teacher. She said to her, Miss, but that's stupid. That's what she said to her about monkeys supposedly being, or humans descending from monkeys. So he said, Miss, that's stupid though. That's rubbish. Because she was so shocked, she just let it out. So the teacher said, that might be somebody's belief. So, you shouldn't say that. Some of the students in the back, the ones in the back, right? All these ones, they're like, oh, it's probably her belief, right? So, we were a little, we were at least like semi-tuned in. So we knew that was wrong. So be conscious, be aware that certain things are being taught that are against our Islamic values, against what is the truth, against what the creator of the universe revealed to us. Okay? So it's important for you to stay aware, and for you to not only stay aware but to teach your children. Imagine your child comes home and says, well, do you know, because sometimes it becomes something secondary. Because the children think, well, we're being sent to a school, and obviously everything that's there must be trusted, and otherwise they wouldn't send us to that school, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So whatever they learn there, they take it becomes second nature. Then when someone says to them, when a Muslim says to them, look, what's this evolution rubbish? That people came from monkeys, what's that all about? Then what will some of those children that didn't know any better do? They'll defend it. They'll say, no, this is science. Of course it's true. Trial and error. It's been proven, which it hasn't. Even Darwin had doubts. So it's important for a person to be very aware. It's not the only thing. Okay. Anyway, so Adam alayhi salam descended with his wife from Al-Jannah. And we had said that eating from the was a reason, a cause for Adam alayhi salam to descend. Of course, Allah eternally, without a beginning, knew.
Eating from the tree, it's an apple.
Apple? Oh, eating from the tree. Sorry, there you go. Okay? So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala eternally knew and eternally willed that Adam alayhi salam would be going to the earth. So when Adam alayhi salam descended, and we don't say that Adam alayhi salam was kicked out of paradise or booted out of paradise or any word to this effect which is derogatory, okay, which is belittling and mocking. We don't say that about Adam alayhi salam. He was a prophet after all, alayhi salam. Yeah? So Adam alayhi salam descended. And he descended in a place known as Sarandib. In the past, you know how the names of places change, okay? Sarandib is, according to the historians, today, what is known as Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, Allah knows best. In Sri Lanka, they have a mountain, which the top of they call Adam's Peak. And now there are monks and Buddhists that have control over this area. It's said that that is where Adam alayhi salam descended. It's said that that's where he descended. And that place where he descended, alayhi salam, it remains very fragrant to this day. It's true. I have some friends, of my friends that studied with me, they were situated in Sri Lanka. They were teaching. I think they're still there. They've been there. They attested to that. They said, yes, it's true. That area, it's beautiful and it's very, very fragrant. Very, very fragrant. And Lady Hawa, alayhi salam, and you can say alayhi salam about Lady Eve. She did not descend in Sri Lanka. She descended in Jeddah. So the actual name is Jeddah, but what do we usually say today? Come on, you've not been there? Jeddah, I've never been there, but we know it. Yeah, Jeddah, right? Or they say Jeddah. Some people say Jeddah also. Jeddah meaning grandma, right? Jeddah is the actual word. Jeddah bil dam. So that's where she descended. And then eventually they met at Arafah. They met at Arafah. Something special occurred close to the plains of Arafah in a place called Na'man al-Arak. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I have to go back a bit. Okay. Because I want to go through it chronologically, but then I forget things, I've got to go back. Okay, the souls, al-arwah, the souls were created all at once. All of the souls. So the soul of I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody who's well known. Dhul Qarnayn, the soul of Adam alayhi salam, and the soul of the people that will come 100 years from now. All of the souls of the people were created at once. So they didn't exist, and then they all existed. Okay? These souls are in a place. Where is this place? Allah knows best. Now what happens is that our bodies, as you know, they are created lifeless in the womb. Okay? Then after 120 days, which is how many months? 120 days is how many months? 4 months. Okay? So you do know the answer. You just, okay. Because when I say that, and then nobody answers, I think, nobody's with me. Okay? So, the body is formed, okay, in the womb. And then at 120 days, that soul which has been assigned to that particular body, as Allah eternally willed, that soul comes from that place wherever the souls are. Okay? And they've existed from that point, wherever that was. And they are injected into the fetus. It becomes someone who's alive now, right? After 120 days, the soul is injected. At 120 days, the soul is injected. So the souls already existed, right? Even before the soul was injected into Adam alayhi salam, the souls already existed. Why? Because the animals existed before that, and the animals have souls. Every animal has a soul. Even insects that are alive, they have souls. Likewise, the Jinn have souls. Likewise, the angels have souls. All of the souls were created at once. Okay? A side point here, plants don't have souls. Okay? Plants, they are not considered alive in that sense. But sometimes people might say that they are alive, meaning that they are active. Okay? There is some type of diffusion occurring or some type of chemical reaction occurring. Okay? So plants are active, they're not alive. Okay? So if you break a leaf in half, it doesn't scream. And you're not sinful, okay? So all the souls were created at once. Fine. So let's fast forward again. When Adam alayhi salam met Lady Hawa in that place which I named, what was it called? If you get this one, mashallah. Huh? Place close to Arafah, what was it called? It's good you got Arafah though, it begins with a noon. Na'man al-Arak. So not Nu'man, okay? If you're thinking of that distant cousin, Nu'man. No, Na'man al-Arak. What is it, Brother Nasir? Na'man al-Arak. You're the man to ask next week, inshallah. Na'man al-Arak. Okay. Allahu Akbar. So what happened was, Allah revealed in the Quran that all of the souls, all of the progeny of Adam alayhi salam, meaning all of his descendants, includes us, right? Includes the people in other countries, includes all of the Muslims and all of the non-Muslims. So all of his offspring, okay, that would exist until the Day of Judgment, all of their souls, they were extracted, okay, and in some way brought out, okay. Those that would come from the loins, or if you will, the back of Adam alayhi salam, because he is their father or great-great-grandfather, or however he's going to be. So they were extracted from Adam alayhi salam, and the souls, they were made to gather. Everyone's soul, so even our souls. The Prophet mentioned this alayhi salatu wasalam, and it's in the Quran. On a day called Yawma Alastu. Allah revealed that in the Quran. Anyway, so all the souls were gathered. And all the souls, they had a very, very small size. And they were all gathered. And all of them were made to bear witness. The souls were all asked, even if now those people are non-Muslims, some of them, and they will die as kuffar and be in hell forever, they were made to bear witness that Allah was the Lord. it was said, Alastu bi Rabbikum, meaning, isn't Allah your Lord? Do you not testify that Allah is the owner of everything and the creator and God? So every single soul testified. Every single soul. Anybody that you can think of. Even someone who is today fighting the Muslims, even killing Muslims and so on. Okay? Even they on that day, they testified. Okay? They said, yes, qalu bala. They said, yes, Allah is our Lord. Then Allah revealed it. So that happened. Allah revealed in the Quran that when people come out of the womb, when they are born, right? من بطون أمهاتهم من بطون أمهاتكم لا تعلمون شيئا. That you're brought out, you are made to exit from the wombs of your mothers while you've forgotten everything. You've forgotten that covenant, that witnessing, that testification that La Rabba illallah, that Allah is our Lord. That day on which this happened, this special event occurred, is called Yawma Alastu. Literally meaning the day of am I not? Meaning, because it was revealed to them that isn't Allah your Lord? It was mentioned, Alastu bi Rabbikum qalu bala. So everyone's soul testified on that day. Okay, and then people, when they are born, they forget everything. A child of the age of 1 day doesn't have a belief. 2 days, 3 days, 1 month, 2 months. They're not said to believe in anything. So we're not allowed to say that, as some people do, we're not allowed to say everyone's born Muslim. You might have heard that. You might have heard some people saying that. You can't say that. You can't say everyone's born Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ كُلَّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ. Every one that is born upon the fitrah. Fitrah doesn't mean here Islam. Fitrah doesn't mean everyone's born Muslim. No, it means everybody is born with the capability. يعني بالقابلية على الإيمان. يعني everyone is born with the capability, with the ability to accept al-Islam and go according to its rules. Everybody is born like that. The Prophet ﷺ said, ثُمَّ أَبَوَاهُ يُنَصِّرَانِهِ أَوْ يُهَوِّدَانِهِ أَوْ يُمَجِّسَانِهِ. But it is then the people, the parents rather, that turn the child into a Christian, يُنَصِّرَانِهِ al-walad, أو يُهَوِّدَانِهِ, they turn the child into a Jew or whatever. Whatever the parents guide the child towards, that's what the child becomes. So it's not that everybody is born Muslim, but rather everybody is born with that capability, with that inherent, let's say, ability to embrace al-Islam, to learn al-Islam. Okay? But it's the parents that take it this way or that way. So we're not allowed to say that everybody is born Muslim, and we're not allowed to also say, we shouldn't say, this is not, we shouldn't say if somebody embraces al-Islam, if somebody is an original non-Muslim and they embrace al-Islam, we don't say they're a revert. Revert saying, well, remember on that day, Yawma Alastu, on that day they all testified, right? So they're just reverting back to that. No, we don't say that. We use the term convert. They converted to al-Islam. Okay? Because it's not like they knew that that was what happened and now they're reverting back to that. No. Okay, so we don't say that everybody was born Muslim, rather we say everybody is born with the ability to embrace al-Islam. يولد كل الناس بالقابلية, right? بالقابلية على الدخول في الإسلام. They are born with this ability. So, then after this was done, and this is something that may be used against the people on the Day of Judgment. That you said one thing and then another thing. And, when a person is given this mental capacity, when they become pubescent and they're sane, they have this mental capacity, the intellectual strength and reasoning to work out that a creator exists. It's easy to work out that a creator exists, that this life has meaning. Let me go search for what that is. So then they are told about the prophets and the miracles they perform to show that they are upon the truth. And this is the law of the current time. The law revealed to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Here all of it adds up. Right. So, Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam, he and Lady Hawa, they had many children. Many children. Something else that we should be aware of is that it's not true. Now again, one of those fabricated stories, okay, one of those dodgy stories. It's not true that Adam alayhi salam and Lady Hawa, they first tried to conceive and then a child was born and then it died. And then she conceived again, the child was born and then it died. And then the devil came to them and said to them, name your child Abdul Harith, which means the slave of the devil. And then they named the child this and then it lived. No, a'udhu billah. Adam alayhi salam would name his child the slave of the devil as opposed to Abdullah, please. Some people say this. Some people in some countries, they say things like this. And there's more. There's much, much more that they say. Anyway, so Prophet Adam alayhi salam and Lady Hawa, they had many children. Some scholars mention that she gave birth, Lady Hawa, some 40 times. There are different narrations. Some 40 times. Each time, she gave birth to twins. Twins, a boy and a girl. So each delivery consisted of twins. One was a boy and one was a girl. One was a boy and one was a girl. Like this, up to about 39 deliveries. Okay, so that's that many set of twins. Boy and a girl, boy and a girl, boy and a girl. And then Sheeth, alayhi salam, Seth, he was born without a twin. He was born without a twin. And he is going to become the next prophet in the order. So Sheeth alayhi salam was born by himself. Now, remember, did we speak about morality in the past 2 weeks? No? That must have been different. Okay. How do we know things are right from wrong? It's not down to me. It's not down to me or my upbringing. Or for example, this food tastes really nice because, and I only say that for example because I was brought up eating it. Okay? Or to say, I love this town. This is the best town in the world. For example. Why? Because I was raised here. Right? Morality is not based upon my opinion or your opinion. The difference between right and wrong. Right and good is what Allah revealed to be right and good. That's it. And wrong and bad is what Allah and His Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam conveyed to be wrong and bad. That's it. So you will see now, as the stories go on, we will see different stories where there were certain things in certain times that Allah revealed that were obligations. They were good things, obligations, fard. And at other times, these very things in other nations of other prophets, Allah reveals for those nations that you can't do that anymore. It is now haram. So something that was at one time considered an obligation, rewardable, it had thawab in it. It was good. At another time, that very thing Allah revealed now to be bad. Why? Because Allah is the creator. Allah is the one that reveals when something is good or bad. It's not down to my opinion. Okay? Give you an example. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ilbasu min thiyabikum al-bid fa innaha khayru thiyab wa kafinu fiha mawtakum." He said, ﷺ, in essence, that wear white clothing, for it is the best of clothing. It is the best color for clothing. Right? So now one of us, after we know that, we can't say that there is a color for clothing, okay, that is better than white. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ said otherwise. And that was revealed to him by Allah. So for clothing, I'm not talking about cars or cups or laptops or the wall. No, clothing. There's no color better than white. This is because the Prophet ﷺ conveyed it. Right? So, all of that brief introduction to build up this. Imagine, there's Adam ﷺ and Lady Hawa. And they have approximately 80 children. 80 children, or 41 sets, or 40 sets of twins, and then another child. Approximately 80 children. Right. How is humanity going to progress? How are they going to have children? Where are they going to come from? Okay? So, in that time and in that time only, in the children of Adam, the direct offspring of Adam ﷺ, there was a rule. Just like in our nation, a man, he cannot marry at the same time a woman and her sister. It's not permissible, is it? Right? But in the time of Sayyidina Ya'qub alayhi salam, it was permissible. Okay? Why? Well, those were their rules at that time. That's what the rule was. At this time, this is what the rule is. The rule changed. Fair enough. In the time of Adam alayhi salam, a brother, meaning among the children of Adam, a brother was allowed to marry his sister from a different delivery. Didn't we say that each birth, each pregnancy was twins, a boy and a girl? The next pregnancy number 2, was also a boy and a girl. Pregnancy number 3 was also a boy and a girl. What was haram? It was haram for the twins, the boy and the girl, to marry each other. That was haram. But for a boy to marry the sibling from a different delivery, this was not haram. Okay? And this is the reason, something to do with this that we'll mention next session, about Habil and Qabil. Okay? This is why that story happened. And we'll come back to Habil and Qabil. So when Adam alayhi salam, he taught this to him, they were his children. It was revealed to him that it is not permissible for you to marry off one of your sons to one of your daughters who are from the same delivery. Okay? And other than that you can. So Adam alayhi salam married off his sons to his daughters from different deliveries. Makes sense? Then they had children. Okay. Once they had children, okay, then it became haram for a brother to marry a sister. Why? Because now what do they have? They have first cousins now. So it's not, that necessity is not there. That dire need is not there anymore. Okay? And this was revealed after that. So the rule changed. Allah eternally willed that this would be the case. Okay? And this rule was changed when Prophet Sheeth alayhi salam became a prophet. When he became a prophet, Allah revealed, now it is haram for a brother to marry a sister, full stop. Until the Day of Judgment now. So that rule is stuck now until the Day of Judgment. A brother cannot marry a sister. A biological brother cannot marry a biological sister. Likewise, isn't it sometimes people are considered siblings because of breastfeeding, because they drank the same milk a certain amount of times and so on? Yeah, also. Okay. The Prophet ﷺ said, لما أنزل الله آدم من الجنة علمه صنعة كل شيء. When Adam alayhi salam, this is narrated by At-Tabarani, when Adam alayhi salam was made to descend from paradise, Allah Ta'ala created within Adam alayhi salam the knowledge or the foundations of the knowledge of every science or every field. Science meaning every knowledge. So the knowledge about building, the knowledge about medicine, the knowledge about planting, growing crops, all these different knowledges. Adam alayhi salam was taught all of them. Imagine one person having all of this knowledge, and Allah equipped the prophets. Allah revealed in the Quran, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatah. Allah knows best whom He made a prophet, and Allah equipped the prophets. Allah equipped Adam alayhi salam because he's not only leading his nation, he's going to teach people how to plant, how to sow, how to reap, how to find medicinal benefits to plants, from plants, how to light fires, how to build bridges, how to build houses. Adam alayhi salam is going to teach civilization. He's going to teach all of his progeny until the day of judgment. Can you imagine that? So much knowledge he was given. عَلَّمَهُ صَنْعَةَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Allah taught him the foundation of every knowledge. That the scholars mention حتى علم النبض. علم النبض, and nabad is your pulse, right? This is a special science that the original physicians, they learn, and that is that they would be able to test the pulse and reveal 10 different things about a person. 10 different things, what their nature is. Dry, moist, hot and wet, and other things. They can determine that. This was knowledge given to Adam alayhi salam. Allah علم Adam alayhi salam علم النبض. This knowledge. And then he passed it on to his children. So the foundations of this knowledge were with Adam alayhi salam. Likewise, the foundations of tibbul akhlaq, of the different types of humors that a person has in the body, and the fact that different fruits and foods, we consider them either hot or cold or wet or dry, and how they come together, and how all of the elements in the world also, they are considered either to be to have heat, to have moisture, or to be dry, or to be, and so on. Adam alayhi salam was taught that. So to say Adam alayhi salam, the first man, was descending from monkeys, or to say words to that effect, this is preposterous. So Adam alayhi salam, he was taught how to plant. Sayyiduna Jibreel alayhi salam, it's narrated, descended to him, and he gave him something that contained wheat or seeds. And he taught Adam alayhi salam that these are planted in the earth, okay, and that it's plowed and so on. And then, as an extraordinary matter, immediately it grew there and then, so that Jibreel alayhi salam could show Adam that this is how this thing called wheat is made. Then you take it, you harvest it, you turn it into flour, you knead it, and then you make it into bread. Adam alayhi salam was taught that. Tabarakallah. So he was taught about planting, harvesting, kneading with the K, baking and making clothes even. He was even taught the coining of money. So gold and silver was used. That this should be used as a currency. This is how you buy and sell. That was revealed to Adam alayhi salam. So Adam alayhi salam, he set for his children the first monetary system. MashaAllah. Adam alayhi salam spent time in Mecca. He lived in Mecca. And that is where he built the Kaaba. The Kaaba was actually built before Adam alayhi salam by the angels. And then Adam alayhi salam rebuilt it. Adam alayhi salam then traveled to Jerusalem, which is also, does anybody know the other name for Jerusalem? The old name for Jerusalem. Begins with an alif or an I. It's got a lam in it. No? Elia. Adam alayhi salam, he built a masjid there. They called it Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the furthest masjid. Because at that time, what did they have? The Kaaba, Al-Masjid Al-Haram. And then the furthest masjid at that time was what? Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Literally, it's in the name. Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, yani it's qasi, it's far away. The furthest away masjid. So he built it 40 years after building the Kaaba. As our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam informed us. Next week, we're going to talk about the first murder and what happened exactly. And then we talk about the death of Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And then we move on to Prophet Sheeth alayhi salam. I've just remembered, subhanAllah, I don't know, are there any more slides? No. Okay. So, mashallah. Inshallah, I'll prepare something for next week also, so you can follow along with me. But you're following along, I think. Hopefully, inshallah. We'll see with next week and some questions, hopefully. Maybe also we can have next week, if somebody has any a question, then we can send. If you don't want to ask like this, then you can write it on a piece of paper, as long as it's to do with the topic, inshallah ta'ala. But we'll continue, inshallah, like this, going through the different stories of the different prophets. And, you learn a lot by seeing the suffering that even the prophets face. Like you'll see next week when it comes to the sons of Adam alayhi salam, one of them killing the other. Think about that. We might think that, yes, we have problems, and we do. I'm not downplaying anyone's problems. Problems in the family, problems with one's spouse perhaps, problems with one's siblings, money issues, issues with the parents, issues with the children. Some children don't listen, and so on and so forth. But look at this, Adam alayhi salam. He is the first man, the first messenger, the first prophet. He's lived in paradise already. He comes down to earth. He has to experience for the first time, as a grown man, feeling cold, feeling hot, even sweating. He has to experience, and then he experiences the first murder that ever occurred. One of his children kills another one of his children. Ajib, think about that. Now in terms of hurt, now like I said last time, when one of us is suffering from something, we seek solace that, okay, the other person, they also felt this, so let me go and speak to them. Then it halves your problem. Problem shared, halved, they say. So you feel like, okay, they've been through it, I'm not in oblivion anymore, at least I can, relate to someone. Oh yeah, and, auntie such and such son also went through it, and let me go talk to him. Adam alayhi salam, who did he have to talk to? His son killed his son. During the life of Adam alayhi salam. And over what? By next week, inshallah. Okay, let's say La ilaha illallah, as-salam ala nabi. La ilaha illallah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Next week, we'll start, inshallah, at 7 today. We started a little later because the prayer and so on. Next week the prayer starts at what is it? 7 or 6:35ish, 30? Yeah, so you pray, inshallah, at home, and then we'll begin straight away. Barakallah.